Hey guys, it's Mike here, and in this video, what I want to do is discuss a topic that a lot of fans have been speculating on ever since the Buu Saga of Dragon Ball Z and the end of the Dragon Ball manga. That has to do with Goku, or more specifically, how he returned to life after his death battling against Cell in the Buu Saga near the end of that arc. And, even more specifically, did the old Kai actually pass on his lifespan to Goku after he sacrificed his life for Goku to return? And if so, just how long does Goku have left to live if that's the case? Well, let's get into that topic right now as I bring up the manga and we start to look into that in depth. But before I begin, I just wanted to let you all know that I actually have an Instagram page, which is at Laughingstock Media, and a TikTok at LSM Mike, where I post exclusive videos and other things that you could check out over there. So if you're interested in any of this, you can give me a follow on either of these pages, the link to which will be down below in the description. Alright, so to catch everyone up to speed with regard to this, during the fight between Ultimate Gohan and Super Buu, Buu used his absorption ability to absorb both Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks and Piccolo into his body, so at that point he'd be able to in turn defeat Ultimate Gohan, increasing his power so much that he was able to dominate Gohan in his powered up state. And during this entire time, what happened? Goku and the Kais were looking on from the sacred realm of the Kais and looking at this fight and seeing exactly what would happen. At this point, they realized that Gohan was going to lose, that there was no chance he'd win, and this is when the old Kai brings up this concept, which is, I didn't foresee this. There is only one choice. You'll have to go there, Son Goku. What, says Goku? But Goku can never again return to the world of the living, says Shin. I know that, says the old Kaioshin. Unless I give you my life. That should hold you a while. You'll give me your life, says Goku, shocked. No, says Kibito, giving your exalted life away to a human? This is madness. Kibito, you're always very friendly and not discriminatory at all against the humans, now are you? The alternative is the death of the universe. Buu will make his way here too eventually, says old Kai. But then let him have my life. I want to be useful too. Oh, knowing Shin, I'm sure that Goku would probably die immediately after he got his life because of how useless he is. But anyway, don't be silly. You're still young. I probably have 1,000 years left in me anyway. More on that in a second. At this point, what happens? Well, the old Kai is able to set up the situation in which he's able to not only give his life up, but give it directly to Goku. Where you can see here, he does that whole exchange, falls over dead, Goku's halo disappears, and we get this funny kind of subversion here where he's like, thank you, I swear I'll use your life well. You darn well better, says the old Kai as he jumps back up. Now get going before you waste my death. Yeah, says Goku. Another scene that was kind of emotional in the anime, especially. In the manga, it's kind of more like a gag scene. This guy is basically the highest god at the time that we know of, and he just gives up his life, but even though his body's right there, he just pops back up. Oh, I'm still here, by the way, so yeah, get to work. Okay. But with that being said, we know that Goku, well, he was brought back to life, and when he was brought back to life, he was able to, at this point, use his teleportation to go fight Buu. This is where it's introduced that we get the Potara rings, the earrings that make them where they can fuse together, and in turn have it in which Goku can go there, try and fuse with Gohan. Eventually Gohan gets absorbed though, so he fuses with Vegeta, who they just so happen to be introducing, was still kept intact by King Yama just in case this happened, even though Vegeta is significantly weaker than even Goku and Gohan, which he basically references at least, you know. At least Vegeta is a little bit self-aware of his strength here, saying that I wish I could promise that I'll even live up to your faintest hopes, because he knows that even sending him in is kind of pointless for his one-day visit with Baba. So, with that being said, as we saw here, Goku had his life given to him by the Elder Supreme Kai so that he could return to the Earth. But with that being said, as I just showed you before, the Elder Supreme Kai states that I probably only have 1,000 years left in me anyway, because during his time inside the Z-Sword that he was put in by Beerus according to the new continuity, he was, I guess, still aging. I don't know what he was doing in that sword. Maybe he had kind of like his own hangout spot, a couch, maybe a TV, so he could watch GodTube, stuff like that. His supporting his friend Gawasu on there, but giving him full retention too. Hopefully, you guys will give me that too. But with that being said, he gave Goku his lifespan, or his life, which was 1,000 years worth of life for a Supreme Kai. So does that mean that Goku now is going to get an extra 1,000 years of life? Well, like I just said before, that's 1,000 years for a Supreme Kai. For all we know, a Supreme Kai's life is not one-to-one in terms of years with someone who is immortal from the mortal realm. After all, in the Saiyan Saga, when Goku goes to King Kai's planet and he begins to train under him, King Kai tells him that he only has about 158 days left. At this point, Goku's shocked because he's like, oh no, I'm not going to have enough time to train up to be as strong as them. And he says, oh no, don't worry, it'll be more than enough. 158 days with me is like a few thousand years of training on Earth. So it's entirely possible that time actually passes differently in the afterlife and in the Kaioshin realm compared to that on Earth. After all, it only makes sense because they're a different dimension, a different reality in which they have, a much larger planet that's actually surrounded by stars in this particular world. So for all we know, Goku actually was given, I don't know, maybe 365,000 years worth of life, if that's the case. Or, whatever the equivalency between the few thousand and 158 days with me. Or it could be the inverse. Maybe Goku actually has significantly less lifespan left because it actually equates to the opposite. So we actually have to divide Goku's remaining years by the time disparity in the afterlife. So that's entirely possible too. But let's just say, for instance, that actually did transfer to Goku in terms of like the same 1,000 years. Well, that means that because the fact that Dragon Ball Super is only taking place over a 10-year time period, and Goku has gone into a time chamber about, I think, 3 times, or for 3 years worth during Dragon Ball Super, well, that means that Goku, if he actually does have 1,000 Earth years left in him, is going to be able to live another 987 years after the end of Dragon Ball Z, where he flies off with Oob, theoretically. So he's going to be significantly older than even Master Roshi, if that's the case. And I keep saying if, because even though this seems like a cool concept, a way to kind of age Goku at a slower rate, or to give him much longer period of time, maybe as an old man, as an old master, just like Roshi, the thing is that we were never told in universe that this is actually the case and that Goku will live anywhere near that long. Additionally, everything that Toriyama has suggested is that Goku, when he hits his 80s, just like Vegeta and every other Saiyan, will age significantly, rapidly over time until he looks like this, which you could see right here when I actually talked about this whole subject of Goku being an old man in my video Old Man Goku that you could see in the cards and on my channel. So Toriyama himself drew this picture of Goku as an old man many years ago. So it's entirely possible that when Goku reaches his 80s, he's going to hit this point and that he might just, age and only live up to normal human lifespan, which really, when you think about it, isn't that big of a deal because the fact that, in Dragon Ball, the human lifespan seems to be significantly older for many people than it does in our world. After all, Master Roshi's sister, fortune teller Baba, is well over 100 years older than he is, and so that means that his parents would have had to be at least over 100 years old when they started to have kids, so they were hundreds of years old when Master Roshi was, born theoretically. And, the Crane Hermit also lived to be hundreds of years old. Master Mutaito could have been, for all we know. There's a lot of humans from this antediluvian age, let's just say, before the catastrophe of King Piccolo, who were living for hundreds of years. So maybe Goku still could live many years after this happens, even if we don't take this into account. Or Goku could be trapped in a kind of older age for about 1,000 years when he finally hits that 80-year range, and then in turn he's going to be like Roshi, where maybe he will still be able to get stronger, but maybe his body will still be somewhat limited because he's an older age. So It's 100% possible that Goku did inherit the 1,000 years from the Elder Supreme Kai. However, in universe, there isn't a lot of evidence to necessarily back that up. So did Goku inherit the extra lifespan from the Elder Supreme Kai, thus extending his lifespan to over 1,000 years? It's certainly possible, but I don't see any evidence in universe that ever suggests that, other than the one line I showed you before from the Elder Kai. But what do you guys think? Let me know your own thoughts down below in the comments. Also, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.
Yeah, and you better subscribe.